Hey guys, I think I've been playing the wrong Marvel game over the holidays. Marvel's Avengers by Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics. Another title that just couldn't quite grab that Destiny bag that even Destiny has been struggling to grab itself over the last couple of years. Honestly, I'm just not sure why these studios keep trying to make these big budget live service titles. It seems to always lead to the same outcome. Disappointing numbers, insane mockery by the internet, and then studio closures. We saw it with Gotham Knights, and we saw it with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League. 2 games, by the way, I've covered on the channel. If you haven't seen them, go check them out. Okay, thanks, subscribe, love you, bye. So the next game looking to castrate itself is Marvel's Avengers by Square Enix and Crystal Dynamics. I don't need to tell you who Square Enix is, but Crystal Dynamics, in case you didn't know, are the guys who done the Tomb Raider games, the reboot ones that play a lot like Uncharted, but with boobs. Figured about it, basically just Uncharted 2. Avengers was insanely hyped up back in the day. Fans of the movies and the games and the comics, everyone in the demographic thought this might be a slam dunk in the video game space. This was essentially looking to be the Marvel's Avengers endgame, but for, actual games. There must be a joke here. But let's be honest, a AAA Marvel game by some big dick studios was exciting till we started to see the cracks through the announcements and trailers. The design choice for the characters didn't look right. The live service elements, of course, being insanely predatory, along with the monetization systems in the game, honestly gave it quite a few knocks, but I think the final nail in the coffin was the cringy dialogue.
Oh, could you imagine? And the winner for best fan fiction ever is Avengers versus the Evil Sewer Lizards by Kamala Khan, and the crowd goes wild.
That's the spirit.
I saw him, yeah. He was over at the Stark booth, but he's probably not there anymore because I saw him leave. Wait, aren't you gonna say the thing?
What?
You know, Avengers Assemble.
Yeah, we don't really say that.
Say the line, Bart!
Ah! Now, the story has a pretty interesting premise in the opening acts, but it gets walled off by very boring and grindy missions, and honestly, that goes hand in hand with the dull combat. There is absolutely no feedback when hits connect with enemy mobs. It feels like every attack is a half-assed slap with a pool noodle, and it feels like that for every character in the game, including the Hulk, which is just plain stupid to me. The guy needs to feel like he is hitting enemies with 2 Ford Fiestas for hands. And the lock-on. For a start, no auto lock-on is terrible, but when you do toggle it onto a mob, the hero will still just jump around between enemies in a fight, so it's more of a hindrance than a gameplay mechanic. Not to mention the insane amount of bugs that even to this day I was encountering.
Aim is yeah.
As long as the shield is up, the city's fine, right?
Yes, but Wakanda is not just Finn and Sana. We must remove every last invader from within Wakanda.
Gladly.
We're almost there.
Get outside! Hurry!
Check out the fancy drawbridge.
Subtle tone. After you.
The game was so poorly received, in fact, it not only killed itself, but it also killed the next Marvel game released by just pure association. And I hear the Guardians of the Galaxy game is actually pretty good, but I haven't played it because this game kind of made me not want to, and I don't think I'm alone in that. Avengers released back in September 2020, and I will give it a little bit of slack. It did release during a pandemic, which probably doesn't help a newborn live service title, but despite the hate it got and all of the negatives I've mentioned in the video so far, man, I've gotta say, I actually enjoyed my time playing Marvel's Avengers. Just to clarify, the definitive edition. For me, out of these 3 titles, Avengers is actually the GOAT. To be fair, that's not really saying much. That's like taking 3 dog turds and trying them and saying, hey, this one actually tastes the best. They're all turds. They ain't great games, but I did actually enjoy my time with Avengers. The studio, just before blacklisting the title and making it nearly impossible to play, especially online, decided to release a definitive edition that included all the characters, all the skins, all the expansions, while also removing the insane grindy gameplay for good gear. They kind of just streamline gear to you now. It's pretty nice. And the monetization system is completely gone, making it an actually pretty okay single player experience. If the game had dropped like this at launch, it would have had way more room to grow and it would have likely been way more appreciated by the fan base. Now, I'm not saying the live service aspect is the only failure this game had, but its removal does make it a better experience in my opinion. Granted, matchmaking is now dead, so without a masochistic friend wanting to join you, you're most likely going to be playing the game solo, and that's not too much of a problem because the game does put bots in place of where players should be, and they can be okay when they decide to res the player. Hey, Kate, I'm down over here. Kate? Kate? Kate, I really could use a hand over here. She's just standing there, menacingly. I mean, at this point, I just want the sweet release of death. Oh, thank you. Other than that, I only really had 3 issues with the game during my playthrough. Number 1, it's the cringy dialogue, mainly with Kamala. I get she is a massive nerd for all things Avengers, but her script, man, it cut deep.
And the mob, and the press, and the whole world tell you to move. You plant yourself like a tree beside the river of truth, and you say no. You move.
What?
My second issue is, of course, the design of some of the characters. I was one of the guys that didn't really care that they weren't doing a MCU roster of characters. Getting actors like Rob Downey Jr. to give their face to a game is expensive, and getting lookalikes is just as bad. But they didn't go far enough with it. This still kind of feels like, I don't know, like I feel like I'm looking at Chris Evans' stunt double here. It's really odd. If you're not gonna do the MCU, then they should have gone way far into the comics for a style, rather than this. And don't get me started on the actual suits. I've seen cosplayers do better work than this. It's terrible. And you knew it was coming, but you compared the level of respect and style given to these heroes in something, say, like Marvel Rivals, the cracks do really show. And I'm convinced Black Widow has a male model in Avengers. Is that just me? Something feels weird with Black Widow, right? And my third issue is honestly the climax. Like I said, the game got discontinued, so the story does start off okay-ish, and it does slowly start to expand to become better as you play, especially when you hit the expansions. I quite honestly got excited for the future storyline in expansion 2, but nothing comes of it because the game died, and it ends on a pretty massive cliffhanger, so yeah, that kind of sucks. I'll give credit to the devs, they kept the game on life support for a while and released these expansions to next to no players. It reminded me of something else actually. But I do wish they tied up the main plot a little bit more. But other than those issues, I started to really get into the game. Thanks to the constant stream of loot coming from the missions, I really felt like I was building up my characters. There are daily and monthly missions that you can do to get better gear, but you don't need to touch those at all because you are literally getting bombarded by gear all the time. The story actually has some good moments. The missions are a bit repetitive, but they do enough different that you don't feel like you're playing Suicide Squad. It took me about 20 hours to reach the end of the game, and I honestly do feel like my time wasn't wasted. Don't get me wrong, yes, at launch, this game deserved to be burned at the stake, but I will give major props to the devs for not giving up on it. And like I said, the definitive version of this game, I mean, minus Spider-Man if it's not on PlayStation. Actually kind of thankful about that. He looks like he plays like ass. It's actually not a bad time. But don't take my word for it. Let's dive into the story and see if Marvel's Avengers was really that bad. The game opens up with Kamala Khan winning a fan fiction contest to grant access to A-Day, a convention for all things Avengers. Think TwitchCon but Marvel. There's even just as much grooming going on at this convention.
Yes, yes, of course. You are very wise for one so young.
Thanks. So are you.
Kamala Khan. I will remember your name.
I need an adult. Honestly, it's so weird that all these big heroes take such a liking to this random little kid so quickly. It's very sus. We do see Bruce and, oh, hi MODOK. Anyone else keep thinking that this was James Williams from Rooster Teeth's Funhouse, or was that just me? The entire game, I kept thinking it was him. Honestly, I could see him doing the role. Kamala Khan does a bunch of fangirl cringe and collects a bunch of comics so she can win VIP seating at the event. And this is it, apparently. These seats are terrible. The guys at the front have a much better view of the Avengers. Hashtag scammed. During the event, a bridge goes boom, and the Avengers assemble to deal with the threat, and we get to play as them in the opener. These heroes do play relatively similar, but different enough that you end up picking your favorite. Flying as Tony is great, and Thor can politely ask people to hold Mjolnir.
Shield issue. I'll get Commander Hill on the line.
And of course, Hulk goes to town on anything and everything. And I love the little humor he has with his cutscenes too.
Shit!
Also, as a side note, I like that while developing this game, they literally just used an AI voice to fill the gaps for Hulk before they made him do his grunts and moans.
Thanks, Flight Control. You doing okay, Hulk?
Agreeable grunt.
I don't know why I find this so funny. Turns out Taskmaster is causing all the issues and Black Widow takes him out. Man, I have never wanted to wear a hockey mask so bad in my life before.
It should have been me, not him! It's not fair!
That doesn't look right. Yeah, for some reason in Marvel's Avengers, the fire graphics break pretty consistently on PC. I hope you thought it was cool seeing Taskmaster because we ain't seen him again for the rest of the story. We get a little bit of Arkham gameplay with Cap, and he sacrifices himself as he likes to do, trying to shut down a reactor, but unfortunately it still blows up and kills off most of the guests at A-Day. Those who survive the blast gain superpowers, which sounds pretty awesome, but apparently the rest of society did not like this and cast them off as Inhumans. Yeah, that's what they call people with powers, Inhumans. Dear God. It's like you give society a chance to be racist and it's going to be racist. So while people are hatching out of cocoons, the Avengers end up in hot water and Bruce just cries in court saying, yeah, it's our fault. The Avengers can't be trusted, blah, blah, blah. I hate his character in this game so much. He does nothing but whine the entire game. This pisses off everyone in the Avengers and they disband, and after years and years pass, we join back with Kamala Khan, who is basically just a Stretch Armstrong toy now. I feel like if the stretchy hands wasn't a kink before, it probably is now, right? Miss Marvel hacks into Tony Stark's system by using the password.
Oh my god, I'm in! I can't believe it.
What? I'm sorry, but there is no way Tony Stark, the Tony Stark, would not have like a 20-step authentication process to log into his systems. I am Iron Man, are you? Oh my god, the writing, dude. So after expertly hacking into the system, we find footage that Cap might have been killed off rather than sacrificed himself.
No way. Tarleton sealed him in?
And this gets the attention of AIM, who have basically bought up all of S.H.I.E.L.D. and Stark Industries after A-Day. Camilla gets the heads up that she's being tracked by an Elton John fan, and we head off to find this mystery person. Am intercepts and we see MODOK starting to look a bit more MODOK, and I know his design gets ripped on all the time, but does it not look like he's holding back the world's biggest sneeze? Bro, just let it out. You'll feel so good after. After Camilla escapes, she decides she's going to try and reassemble the Avengers, starting with our super depressed Hulk and Bruce Banner. Now, I said this earlier, but I hate this version of Bruce. He always talks like he's insanely socially awkward, even though he's chatting to a literal child, and he just constantly goes on about how sad he is and how things could have been better if the Avengers didn't exist, blah, blah, blah. Like, no one wants to hear this dialogue, and it does not get better once Tony is reintroduced. I get that there's bad blood, but this theme keeps going and getting retreaded throughout the entire game.
Hey, back off!
Hi, I'm sorry. Who are you?
Kamala?
Well, Kamala, your Emerald-eyed friend here is kind of on my shit list. Do the Avengers pose a danger to society? That was the question, Bruce. That was the question.
Did you even check the science? Did you check
It was a
the
heist,
science?
Bruce.
No.
We were outsmarted.
The Terrigen reactor was unstable, and you knew that, and you still paraded it before the entire world.
So what? We just give up?
We didn't give up, Tony. We failed. At least I can admit that. But the kid isn't human. We did this. And she needs your help. I can't.
You can't what? You're ditching me?
Hey, don't take it personally, kid. No, this is what he does, isn't it? And why don't you take a good look around, huh? I can barely help myself.
What reason? Hundreds of people were infected. People died, Nat.
Take it easy.
You take some responsibility, Tony.
Well, there's the Bruce I know. Throw everyone under the bus, why don't you?
No, it's not the time.
No, it's okay now. See, he's been waiting to do this since Golden Acres, haven't you? Haven't you?
This is our fault. All of ours. How do you not get that?
Hey, what I get is that you actually believe all that crap you said at the hearing.
I believe that we are dangerous.
You really think the world is better without us?
Yes.
I make the tough decisions.
Doomed.
I stand by the people who made me who I am.
I am warning you.
What's the matter, Bruce? Make you angry? See, that's always been your problem. Running from who you are, what you are. Maybe that's why Monica got the better of you.
I was just agreeing with you, big guy. That Banner is a coward.
It's very one note, and it's the same for Kamala's character as well. She bounces backwards and forwards throughout the entire story. 1 second she is loving the fact that she is an Avenger and living that superhero fantasy she's always wanted. But then it cuts right back to how difficult and hard it is doing this lifestyle, and that's a fine character development. You see it all the time, and I loved it in games like Miles Morales, where at first it's fun in games, but then real life sinks in and things get difficult. I like that arc, but it's not an arc with Kamala. She goes backwards and forwards constantly. 1 second she loves it, the next time she hates it, then she loves it again, then she hates it again. And again, 20 hours of this is pretty stupid. Anyway, we reassemble with Robert Downey Jr. and Mobster Hulk. Love this skin. And we meet Ant-Man and his crew of Inhuman rebels. I find it funny after Kamala cries about not seeing any other Inhumans. They literally show up right after via an instant transmission.
Am I alone? Where are all the other Inhumans? Why aren't they fighting back?
Okay.
Stay where you are.
What is this place?
We call it the Anthill.
Oh.
Not my idea. I think it was one of our anonymous hackers, Tiny Dancer.
No way. So they're all...
Inhumans, yes.
It's the writing. Mwah. It's so fucking shit. It's here where we learn that Monica and MODOK are experimenting on the Inhumans. The public thinks they're trying to find a cure for them, but in reality, they're just using them to transfer their powers to androids that they've built. It's kind of fucked up. Also, MODOK, just let the sneeze out, bro. As a little bit of dark storytelling, Am made it so if Ant-Man shrunk or expanded just one more time, he would literally die. He's not even an Inhuman. They literally are just fucking with him. It's really funny. Poor dude. Camilla goes out to save more Inhumans but gets captured, and that's when my girl Black Widow joins, and man, she's my favorite character. I knew she was going to be my favorite character. I get so much shit for playing her in Marvel Rivals, and I don't care. You know why I'm playing her, and I know why I'm playing her. I didn't really have a main so far in Avengers. I just kind of defaulted to Mrs. Marvel, but when Black Widow joined the fray, I fell in love with her, how quick she can get around mobs with her grappling hook, and her counters are way easier to pull off than other heroes, so you can really destroy the big buffier enemies quickly with her. And her ult is just an insane damage boost, and you just tear through an entire mob of enemies. And also, that ass. I'm not even going to deny it. This is probably 90% why. Just not in the swimsuit outfit. It's so weird. Widow saves Kamala and captures Monica, which, to be fair, is quite comic book accurate, as it seems like Widow is always the one that does anything in the Avengers. Bruce then decides to puppy dog eye Monica like a dirty simp he is, as Bruce and her used to hook up before the events of A-Day. To be fair, she probably left straight after because of how depressing Bruce got, and then she escapes. Thor finally decides to join the group, as he apparently has just been working a day job this whole time. And we get word that Am has something hidden up in space in this satellite. Tony decides to investigate it, and it turns out it's our boy Cap this entire time. He's just slept for 5 years. And considering his track record, that only really amounts to a nap for the man.
Starting to think people just prefer me on ice.
See? You're already making jokes. Corny ones, but that's normal for you.
Having Cap back does resolve most of the drama with the Avengers, and honestly, I love having him in the Chad skin. For some reason, just seeing him in the background during cutscenes makes my day. Cap, come on. It's snowing outside. Just put a shirt on, dude. And just to show you how lazy they were with the skins in this game, there's 3 versions of this. One where he's not ripped at all, one where he's slightly ripped, and then God tier rip and tear mode, just for this one skin. So why was Cap in space? Well, Monica hit him up there so she could use his blood to make more Inhumans and to activate Big Head mode on MODOK. And quite valid, he isn't too happy about it, considering he is such a straight-edge guy and has a undying hatred towards anyone who has superpowers. As long as you know it doesn't include him, Monica, half of his army, and of course all the abominations that he's making. So he returns the favor to Monica. This never really has a payoff. All we really see is that she now has a different pigment in her eyes. We never know what her powers are in the game, so I just assume this is all that changed for her. Worst superpower ever. The gang then takes the fight to MODOK, and it's actually a pretty awesome mission.
We got this. The door ahead leads to the transmitter's base. I'll follow Hulk's lead, and try not to fall to my death.
The difficulty is drastically lowered as you need to be able to play with all the Avengers in this one mission, and you probably haven't leveled them all up the same, especially Cap, who you unlocked one mission ago at level 1. So I get why this mission is kind of baby modey, but switching between the gang is pretty fun. Again, just like that first mission, you get to really go to town with these heroes. I just wish the game was built like this, as a single player title, so all levels could have this much care and honestly pretty awesome environments and set pieces. It's a good time, the boss fight is pretty good too. Once MODOK is defeated, he actually just decides to awaken a Sentinel, which the gang has to work together to take out. We do this and then we get this cliffhanger that doesn't actually go anywhere, but we do get a little bit of information on it. We'll get to it, but that's the base game of Avengers. Honestly, not that bad of a time. With all the grinding and microtransactions taken out, I actually thought it was a fun 20-hour romp through a Marvel story. But we're not done just yet. Crystal Dynamics released 3 expansions over the coming months after the game dropped. And the first one, I'll be honest, is a bit bland. It's about Kate Bishop. All she's really doing is infiltrating an AM base looking for Hawkeye. This does mean we get to play as Kate herself, and she's probably one of the best Avengers in my opinion, which isn't really a surprise because she just plays like Lara Croft from the Tomb Raider games. But the character architecture is so good that they do it twice, because in the second expansion we get Hawkeye, who, I know, he plays like an Echo fighter from Smash, exactly the same but slightly different. During Kate's missions we find out that Monica is talking to her future self due to some timey-wimey Doctor Who stuff. And we see Hawkeye head off to the future. Go, oh my God, I hate this design for Hawkeye. The shaved head, I'm not a fan of this. Anyway, Hawkeye heads off to the future. So Kate Bishop decides to make her own time travel machine, sure, to travel back a few hours before Hawkeye goes through their time traveling machine so we can stop him and destroy their time traveling machine. But by destroying that, we would have never seen it, so we wouldn't have gone back in. Oh my God. This is why you don't do time travel. Long story short, this is the longest mission in the entire game. It takes about 30 minutes of you going backwards and forwards through time. And the funny thing about it is the first half of it is saving Hawkeye in the past, just for him to say he needs to follow through with the original plan because it might save Nick Fury. So we just let him go through the portal anyway. What a waste of time. But he does come back and we learn that in the future, things get a little bit alien-y. That word? This leads to the second expansion where we play as Old Man Hawkeye in the future, and this is my favorite part of the game. I love this expansion. I love the missions, I love the new area that we get to explore. Hawkeye plays so well, he's actually kind of OP, and we get a boss fight with Maestro Hulk, which actually wasn't the best part of this DLC. He kind of plays a bit rough, and my game crashed, so I had to fight him twice. But anyway, story-wise, turns out that thing that blasted out of the Sentinel in the base game was actually a beacon to an alien race called the Kree, and they've just decided to come over and dunk on Earth, which they do. Monica is working with her future self to try and change the past and stop the invasion because in the future they lost this fight. The expansion only really exists to tell us that part and give us an idea that we need to make preparations to get ready for this invasion. We can't stop it, but we can prepare for it. All right, that's pretty cool, and I feel like a later expansion would have gone into that a bit more, but the last one we got was a solo story in Wakanda. There are elements with Am trying to get materials from Wakanda to help them fight the coming invasion, but it's kind of just a throwaway line by Monica in a cutscene, so yeah, there's not much. Most of the expansion is to introduce Wakanda as a place and the Black Panther, who honestly is probably the best written character in the game. I'm a sucker for a badass one-liner character, especially with T'Challa's dulcet tones. The guy makes me melt, honestly.
Beloved, you let him go?
Yes, Okoye. For now.
Won't he warn the others?
And still they will be at a disadvantage. He will lead me to his friends, then to their leader, Claw. Is this the man who fancies himself the general of a corporate army?
Ulysses Claw, at your service.
When I find you, I will have you begging for mercy you won't receive.
Just like the other expansions, there's a bunch of kind of meh missions, which is just to grind loot and progress the story somewhat, but it leads to a boss fight with Claw, which is pretty intense and probably one of the best in the game. You have to fight the big bad while also trying to deal with one of his subordinates that is pretty strong himself, while also trying to help Wakanda get their shields back online. You really have to multitask in this fight, and I can see why they did this because you should be playing this with 4 friends. Unfortunately, I just had bots, so we kind of just dogpiled on whatever target I was focusing on. I got through it, but I could see this boss fight being more fun if you have a bit more strategy. But like I said, pretty good boss fight, which is rare for Marvel Avengers. But with Claw defeated, Panther decides to promote his sister to Queen and join the Avengers to help fight the alien invasion that's never actually going to come, because this was the last expansion for the game. It's pretty funny, the base game left on such a massive cliffhanger, and all the expansions build upon this cliffhanger and kept adding fuel to the fire, but the threat actually never comes. It's like the biggest blue ball in history. And that's kind of what Marvel's Avengers is. It's just getting blue balled. The game got insanely hyped and looked to be the next big thing for Marvel Universe, but failed to deliver and wanted to just make a quick buck more than a decent experience. I know my enjoyment for the game is skewed because I didn't experience the worst part of this game, which was the repetitive grinding and microtransactions before those systems got taken offline. And unfortunately, that version of the game no longer exists, so I'll only ever know that through word of mouth. But if you're interested to try this game, maybe you're like me and just didn't bother touching it when you heard all the crap about it. I'd say now, if you can find a cheap version secondhand, and this game got mass produced. Like, there are thousands of copies of this game out there. It's not like Deadpool or Shattered Dimensions where it's hard to find copies. This game was everywhere at one point. I'd say now is the best time to play it. As like I said right at the start of the video, the game is blacklisted from the industry now. It's really hard to play. And it's quite funny how the last 3 titles I've reviewed on this channel have had that exact same fate, but for different reasons. So was Marvel's Avengers really that bad? The title that dropped at launch? Yes, without a doubt. I could see that game being insanely underwhelming, without the expansions being way too predatory, and not just the opening cutscene. But buying it now as a definitive version without that stuff, there's an okay-ish time. It won't change your life or anything, and if I didn't have to write a script and edit a video for it, I probably would have already forgot I played it. But it's definitely an experience I would recommend playing now, just because it's part of gaming history. Unfortunately the bad side, but still history. And it's impressive that though this game flopped so hard, the games like Marvel Rivals still decided to try and do a good Marvel game. And it's good to see that it's actually succeeded for a change. So if you have a buddy and you just want to shoot the shit and stare at some widow ass, it's not the worst time. Thank you for watching the video. I still can't believe the first game I purchased, played, and beat in 2025 was fucking Marvel's Avengers. That is not a good sign. But hey, surely that is worthy of a thumbs up in a comment, right? Don't let this pain be for nothing. As always, I'd like to give a massive shout out to my patrons. You guys are the widow's ass that gives this channel the strength to carry on. Thank you. Pitstab, Guyinthetie, and Chris Spicer. Thank you so much, guys, for going above and beyond for me and the channel. Not sure what the next project will be, but I'm looking forward to see what 2025 will look like for the channel. So I hope you guys are as excited for it as I am. Till then, though, stay safe out there. Tie out. Peace.